Welcome race fans to Pit Stop TV. We're live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch tonight as usual. Emerson Ardon and Trey Shuttlesworth with me in the booth. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is Pit Stop TV's live coverage of the SRCA IndyCar World Series at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. We join you tonight from the virtual Madison, Illinois for rounds 12 and 13 of the SRCA IndyCar World Series season. We're going to skip the wonderful facts about this great facility here in Madison, Illinois, and we're going to go straight to your starting grid. These guys have already put their qualifying times in. Starting up front, we are going to have none other than Rick Ray Vaughn in the number 3 car. Then it's going to be Daniel Falkingham to his outside in second place. A little further back in row number 2, it's Spencer Madden and Travis Bennett. Row number 3 gives us the one, the only Elijah Degracia, followed up by Cole Freilich to his outside. And following them up in row number 4, we've got Tom Mercier, Rafael Sabara, then row 5, Justin Ford. We only have 9 cars here ready to go racing, but Gateway is always sure to excite. Hey guys, I'm really looking forward to covering these two 40-lap features here at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Should be a whole lot of fun as always, and I'm happy to have you guys alongside of me.
Yes, sir. 2 35-lappers here tonight. That will help out with the field size being a little smaller than usual. That means the races just go by quicker, and these guys won't get that spread out. Then it's IndyCar Oval Racing. You'll see them running the IndyCar Road Course car as the pace truck's off in pit lane as we get ready to go to racing here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway.
So the field's going to take the green flag here for 35 laps of action. Rick Ray Vaughn will lead the 8-car field. Daniel Falkingham, despite his second-place starting spot, he did wreck into the turn 1 wall on his formation lap, so he's going to have to take repairs. Don't think these guys have a fast repair in the series, so he's going to have to save it for race 2, whatever he has tonight.
He should definitely still have that fast repair. We'll see as they battle off into turns 3 and 4, though. It's Rick Ray Vaughn and Travis Bennett in second place. Good to see him giving Rick Ray Vaughn a go here after 1 lap. Rick Ray Vaughn still your race leader. And again, there you see only 9 cars showing up here for Gateway, but it's still going to be a good one. 35 laps on the docket for each race. Bennett goes high in 1 and 2, rather. I almost said 3 and 4, and gets way up out of the groove. And now he's got company from Cole Freilich behind him, Elijah Degracia.
Right, Cole Freilich, he's just going to eat up right there and move. Oh,
no! We've got a big wreck.
Let's Bennett and another car as well. Upside down goes Cole Freilich.
You know, we were watching practice earlier today, and I saw Freilich pull off that same move in practice, you know, getting loose in the middle of 3 and 4, and this time, unfortunately, it's going to collect a few victims. That is pretty unfortunate. He was running P3 at the time, really make his way up the leaderboard.
The 15 Meme Team Machine just gets a bit loose on the bottom side on that curbing, goes up and collects Travis Bennett, who was looking pretty good those first couple of laps. And I'm not sure who that other car is, actually. That might have been, was that Daniel Falkingham? No, Tom Mercier, Rafael Sabara. It was somebody that got involved in that. Oh, that was Elijah Gracia, actually, who was completely an innocent bystander and got caught up in that one. So he's going to get a little bit of damage out of that. But, of course, then your leader, Rick Ray Vaughn, going to stay out and hold on to the race lead. And speaking of Rick Ray Vaughn having a lead, we have some point standings to look at. Kind of an abbreviated opening to the event here. Apologize for that. But Rick Ray Vaughn comes in with a 143-point lead over Aldis Putiklis, who is not in attendance, is not on the racetrack here at Gateway. Spencer Madden is backing him up, so he should take second place pretty easily here. He's got 1 win on the season coming a few weeks ago at Texas Motor Speedway with those couple of double features. Elijah Gracia a little ways back as well, losing 2 positions, though, along with Daniel Falkingham, who has 2 wins. So Falkingham already having those issues here at Gateway. Granted, those 2 wins, I think, still make it a decent season, Emerson.
Yeah, he said he wasn't able to make some races in the first half of the season, and that, yeah, he really has a program here that could really contend for a title if he was able to get all those races in. But, I mean, Rick Ray Vaughn's on an absolute tear, man. I mean, 7 wins out of the 11 completed rounds. This is round 12. I mean, this man, he can really wheel any open wheel car on an oval.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter with him what the series is, as long as it's open wheels, he's really able to control it here on Pit Stop TV. Most notably, he was a winner of the IRL Indianapolis 500 back Memorial Day weekend. He did have a lot of tough competition out there, but ultimately he rose to the top, and he did pretty well in the SRCA, the Pro F2000 series, and 7 wins already in the season here so far for Ray Vaughn.
Yeah, most of the season it's been the talk of Rick Ray Vaughn and Scottless Rambler tearing this series up, and then I think Scottless Rambler has departed from the series. I'm not sure about the details there, but what I can tell you is that he got at least 1, if not 2 or 3 wins on the season before doing so. I remember when we brought this series to Pit Stop TV, the first go-around of that action was at Watkins Glen, and he had that spectacular lap 1 incident that actually brought out the caution, which you don't see very often on road courses here on iRacing. But since then he picked up a win or 2 and was looking pretty solid, I think, all the way through at least Monza, and then he's since just dropped off of the series. But Rick Ray Vaughn has filled that gap, winning 7 races so far of 11 run. So he's only lost 4. So I guess, yeah, Scott only won 1 of those, considering Daniel has 2 and Spencer has 1. So Rick Ray Vaughn definitely the talk of the town, and I don't think that's going to change tonight. Starting on pole for race number 1 on the evening. Again, these guys still running their double features, so to make up some time that was lost for issues previously in May and just trying to end the season a little bit earlier, running a few double features. We did so at Texas a few weeks back. We're doing so tonight here at Gateway, and we did it a few times in the SRCA Pro F2000 series, which actually wrapped up last week at Indianapolis with Aldous Puticlis defending his championship. And I misspoke at the end of that broadcast. I said that was his second championship. That was actually his 3rd in the series, and we just had somebody blow up on the racetrack. Was that Tom Mercier? There was a car traveling along, and then I heard a crunch.
Daniel Fulkingham's engine just expired in turn 1, I believe. Smoke out of the rear end.
Wow.
And, as we saw, he already utilized that quick repair, so that's going to be all for race 1 for Fulkingham. I'm sure we'll see him in about a half an hour, 45 minutes for round 2 tonight, though.
So going back to that Indianapolis finale for the SRCA Pro 2000 series, Aldous Puticlis picking up that 3rd championship then for him. That was some really good racing, guys. We were lucky enough to cover that, but that was the first single feature that these guys had raced in weeks. You go all the way back through Montreal, I got to think Iowa. They had double features. I think it was actually just those 2. But regardless, it was the first single race that they had done in one night in quite a while, because even this IndyCar series has been running double features going back to Texas. So really about a month's time that they ran double features and got really used to these sprint races, and then had to suddenly get back into the groove of actually tackling a longer race. They'll be back to doing that next week as well, as we head across the pond to Barcelona. Circuit de Catalunya should be an exciting one. I forget how many laps are running next week, but we'll get that information for you here shortly. But these IndyCars is going to be tackling yet another road course. Should be a lot of fun. Then we're going to wrap the season up with, of course, a single feature at Auto Club Speedway in California. So a couple of really good races ahead, even after tonight at Gateway. Usually we don't have just 9 cars on the docket, so we should get back to those car counts these next couple of weeks. I hear somebody else driving their motor as well, hopefully not trying to grenade the motor. I think that's Spencer Madden, actually, in the number 6. But regardless, we're going to come out of turn number 3, and we're going to go back racing here, Emerson, and I'll give you the call.
Right, Cho. So Rick Ray Vaughn actually on the low side. You'll see the rest of the field. They're kind of lined up on the outside, but we are green. Ray Vaughn with a huge advantage already as he looked to complete lap number 7 here at Gateway. Throwing into turn 1, trying to open up that gap to Spencer Madden.
That was quite an unconventional line to take on the restart in an IndyCar series here on iRacing. We're so used to guys stacking up on the top side, which, well, everyone behind them did, just because it for the most part, creates a bit more order and structure, but it worked to his advantage here early so far. Spencer Madden staying in the slipstream, and he actually, I believe he closed a little bit there on that lap. I'm trying to look here at timing and scoring. He's about 2.5 tenths back right now. At a track like Gateway, where it's very easy to make a mistake, that's not much at all whatsoever.
Yeah, Spencer's doing a decent job of working that second place position. Of course, you lose that front downforce, you lose the grip in the front of the car because you're trailing the car ahead, obviously, but you can use that to your advantage on the straightaways and gain whatever you lose and then some back, and especially at a place like Gateway, you have really long straightaways here, so if you can just muscle it through the corners and hang on to it the best you can, you're going to have a big run down those straightaways and into the corners. So if you can kind of finesse that for a few laps, you'll suddenly be on the back end of the gearbox there of the leader and be trying to make a move off into turn 1 or turn 3. I think turn 3, probably the better place to do it. 1 is rather narrow, not a whole lot of racing room because it's just such an awkward corner.
Right, it's kind of inverse of Darlington in terms of like corner lengths. You think of 3 and 4 at Darlington, very narrow, and 1 and 2 much more of the long sweeping left-hander, and it's kind of flip-flopped here at Gateway. Obviously, they're nearly the same length. Anyway, Rick Ray Vaughn, you see what he's doing. He's going to turn the Ray Vaughn snake down the straightaways, and he's trying to break that slipstream so Spencer Madden doesn't get so much of an advantage as that second car in line down these straightaways, and so Ray Vaughn can try to maintain that gap. So far, Madden's closed a little bit, but not as much as Madden likes. Ray Vaughn really doing a nice job keeping and maintaining that lead.
The gap is really stagnated for second place or rather for the lead right now at about 3 to 4 tenths, but there is a pretty close battle for fourth place between Cole Freilich and Travis Bennett right now. Freilich in that meme team machine, he's defending pretty heavily there. You saw he did take that almost Ray Vaughn-esque inspired line into the entry of turn 1. But yeah, this is probably the tightest battle we have on track right now. They're only standing about 2 seconds behind the leaders right now.
Although those guys actually are not for position. Yeah. Travis Bennett's trailing Elijah Gracia, so Cole Freilich, the lap car, just kind of playing spoiler to that one. Oh, and he goes around again!
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Yeah, I was about to... Oh, and he collects Rafael Sabara! Oh my goodness. I think that was Mercier who almost got collected in that as well. Ooh. I was about to say, yeah, Freilich was 2 down, and he was up here, and... I mean, I get it, you know, he was racing, but, man, the same mistake in the first half of the race. Not a good look for Freilich to start this race off.
No, and I'm afraid this is going to potentially push the time limit that we have. We only have 30 minutes here to complete 35 laps, so we're really going to be on the cusp of 35 here in the first feature tonight. So we're going to ride on board with Freilich, and I think he basically mimics what he did earlier in the race where he just got loose in the middle of 3 and 4. Going to slow down. He doesn't appear to clip the curbing to get his oversteer.
Yeah, no, he actually didn't that time. It was close from the blimp cam that I showed previously. Now, looking from the onboard, yeah, you're absolutely right there, Trey. He doesn't actually even clip the curbing. He just goes around. So that's certainly interesting that with all the downforce devices these cars have, they're not actually gripping all that well with all the lateral force going around those flat turns 3 and 4, then gets collected by Rafael Sabara in the number 65 car, who then goes for a bit of a ride out of turn number 4. So Sabara will recover. He is in the pacing line right now, actually, down the back straightaway, and hopefully he is able to continue on without too much trouble. But definitely not the start to his night. He had been making some big moves there in the standings. In fact, we'll bring those up again. He was starting to climb up, you know, little by little to maybe getting into that top 5 after a few weeks' time. But I think this one might just hurt him and keep him behind Justin Ford. Only time will tell, though. That 19-point gap certainly not in jeopardy of being spoiled by Will Klein or Caden Henry Oaks, who neither one of those two are here tonight.
Right. I think another interesting thing is I think I hear Ray Vaughn on the pit limiter or in first gear trying to kind of waste some fuel in that machine. I think that's what they're trying to do, make these cars lighter. I think it was a couple weeks ago, they were introduced to the ability to be able to adjust their weight jacker and anti-roll bars, if I'm not mistaken. I think that might have played a factor into Freilich's accident. I'm not entirely sure. I have no idea what he set up his car as, but maybe playing around with that a little too much, maybe got caught out by it a second time, because maybe the first time he was trying to adjust, maybe if he hit the curb again to kind of avoid that, and maybe he was just not able to hold on. That's just my my theory to that accident.
Emerson, that's probably the only thing I can think of, because no one else is really having issues through 3 and 4 for the most part. I mean, in practice and qualifying, you're going to see guys, you know, push the limit, push the envelope, but it just hasn't been a commonplace here tonight. And I think, the weight jacker is definitely a potential thing that we could be looking at, because guys are only beginning to learn how to utilize it in oval racing. it just became an official in-car adjustment for official series. I don't think they were actually on the cars beforehand, actually, before the last seasonal update a couple of weeks ago.
Not in fixed racing, but it was still there in open racing. And yeah, I think a lot of these guys getting used to that difference in how you can set up your race car and just another tool for these guys to be able to work with. It's definitely a possibility there, Emerson. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's something we kind of glossed over these last couple of weeks. Of course, we haven't been covering the IndyCars as much because the SRCA Pro F2000 series kind of took up most of that time, but we're going to have a lot of IndyCar racing ahead, finishing up this IndyCar World Series for the SRCA these next few weeks, and hopefully some more IORL action. Could be fun. Well, will be fun, I should say. We had Belle Isle in Indianapolis for the IORL, and we've had most of, if not the entire season, not quite the entire season, definitely about 90% of this season here for the SRCA between the Pro Mazdas, which they'll be switching cars, and I think I have that graphic somewhere still, but I'm not going to worry about it. And these IndyCars. It's been a lot of fun so far this season. Definitely. Now, I'd only covered 1 or 2 open wheel races before on iRacing at all, or certainly just a small handful. And to do this whole season of open wheel racing between the Pro Mazdas and IndyCars has been a lot of fun. Definitely a bit different and almost preferred at this point because I just know these cars and how they race a little better. We've done so little stock car racing, but this is my little segue into 2 nights of stock car racing ahead. We will have more information on tomorrow night shortly, but what I can tell you is we will have the Galaxy Cup Series back on Pit Stop TV this Saturday at Pocono Raceway, so make sure to tune in for that. As these guys now have 18 laps to go. You guys mentioned it, the time limit. It's certainly going to be an issue for these drivers, and probably why they're trying to lighten the load and make their cars go just that little bit faster. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say nobody's pitted, because these guys have all pitted at least once. So Elijah Gracia, Rick Ray Vaughan, Spencer Madden, they've all come in for tires. That's where that switch happened at the top of the scoring pylon, because now Elijah Gracia, who started about mid-pack in your field of 9 cars, is your race leader. Rick Ray Vaughan, who started first and led to both of those cautions, is now second place. Spencer Madden following him up. Then it's Travis Bennett, Justin Ford, Rafael Sabara, who we've seen be involved in that previous incident. He has actually pitted 4 times since the start of the race. Tom Mercier pitting 5 times behind him. Cole Freilich has parked it for the evening, it looks like, and Daniel Falkingham, blowing that motor through turn 1, has parked it in 9th place. So, Emerson, I'll give you another one here because these guys are coming right back to you for the restart.
Yes, sir. This time Elijah Grassi on the inside lane, but he has the whole 7-car field, or 7 cars remaining right behind him as we go green here at Gateway once again. Are we racing the time limit? Are we racing the lap 35? We'll find out soon enough. Can Rick Ray Vaughan get to the race lead as he's now in 2nd place?
We restart the race, and Grassi is actually on 15-lap old tires, whereas the rest of these guys did take new tires under that last caution. So I think he's going to be a sitting duck here in the entry to 3. Ray Vaughan already on his rear diffuser right now, and I think he's going to have a chance for an overtake on the entry in turn 1. It's going to be quite treacherous to try to pull it off, but I think he's going to have a shot. Madden is right on his toe.
Rick Ray Vaughan making quick work of Elijah Grassi here. Goes to the bottom side, almost down to that curbing. Spencer Madden does touch the curbing. He's going to go around, and we've got another spin.
Man, caution is out. Caution is out.
The meme team having a meme-like performance right now. Cole Freilich spinning twice in turns 3 and 4. Spencer Madden going around now out of turn number 2 after clipping the curbs, trying to go to the inside of Elijah Drew Grassi, trying to follow Rick Ray Vaughan. It didn't quite work out. We saw it live. We'll watch it again. Spencer Madden had a really good run. You mentioned, Trey, following up Rick Ray Vaughan trying to get around Elijah Gracia, and then in turns 1 and 2, he just dips a little too far down the racetrack and is going to go around.
He caught the curbing. Yeah, 1, he caught the curbing, and 2, he's already in dirty air, so that the car is just so unsettled already, and the curbing just doesn't help. And man, I believe he still has a fast repair left. I believe he's been in an accident already, but he'll be in that same boat with Mercier and Samara, having to kind of ride this one out a little bit more caught gingerly without their fast repair. But then again, we are, getting close to that time limit. 3 cautions. I don't think that is what we expected here at Gateway already. Really eating out that time.
No, especially with such small a field. I think we were kind of expecting things to get sorted out early, and for these guys to get into a bit of a rhythm here, despite the fact that it's a sprint format, just because we don't have that many cars here. But no, I mean, Madden went around in a way that a lot of professionals went around at Gateway, and that's off of the exit of 1 and 2 on cold tires. I think every IndyCar race since the return has had a start of the race where guys wreck on lap 1, so keeping that trend going here even in the virtual world. Rick Ravon did get to the top of the board. Gracia did pit that time as well, and Bennett will be second. Justin Ford, we haven't talked about him much. He'll take the last podium spot on the restart.
Yeah, so Justin Ford working his way up the field just a little bit. Now working lap 22 of 35. But I don't think we're going to go, obviously, to that 35-lap mark. You guys have been talking about it. I've mentioned it a time or two. I just don't think it's going to happen at this point, given those 3 cautions. And that's 1 caution now for every 3 cars in the field. So these guys definitely going to try and work that out in race number 2. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, the track looking a little bit on the free side. Granted, they, of course, are playing, I'm sure, with the roll bars and weight jacker adjustments, so that could be giving way to some of those issues. Regardless, we'll see how it works out over this next little while. We officially have about 13 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. Rick Ravon, your race leader, after getting by Elijah Gracia. Only time will tell, though, how this one's going to work out, how many more laps will run, and who's going to end up winning this thing, because this race has suddenly changed quite a bit. We went from a 35-lap sprint to now trying to play the cautions.
I'm a little intrigued on why Justin Ford waited a lap to pit there. He'll drop down. I'm not quite sure. Maybe just to kind of get out of the middle of the field. He's seen fellow competitors maybe just misjudge how low they can take their cars in these corners and lose control. Maybe he doesn't want to, be pressured by another competitor in a battle or something. He kind of fall back here. I was going to mention him in what I was about to talk about next is the drivers we have up here. Rick Ravon, who's been on an absolute tear, but Travis Bennett involved in a heartbreak last Thursday on a, well, I mean, everybody had a shot in that lead pack back in Indianapolis with the F2000, but Travis Bennett was up there and absolutely taken out, sideswiped on an incident that just kind of happened below him. So maybe for a little redemption here, we'll see what Travis Bennett can do. And then behind him, Elijah Gracia obviously won last Thursday. Maybe try to go back-to-back here, at least with in terms of weeks. And Spencer Madden also taking on, I believe, the last race we had here for the IndyCar World Series with that second doubleheader at Texas.
Nope, that is correct there, Emerson. He does come in tonight as the defending race winner in the series, and Madden's been pretty consistent for much of the series. He comes into tonight third in the point standings. So with Oldus Putuklis withdrawing from the series for the time being because he's moving from the UK to Germany, he's probably going to inherit P2 in the championship as long as he gets a good finish here in round 1. Although we go into round 2, and he has a couple guys that are right behind him in the points, such as Gracia and Folkingham, and they're right on his tail. But no, he comes into tonight with 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s for a total of 9 starts, so he's been very consistent, and I think that's why he's so high up in the standings.
Absolutely. I wanted to backtrack for a second. Emerson, you mentioned that win for Elijah Gracia right now. We're riding around with him under caution. I've given this guy quite a bit of flack recently for not winning a race in his own league in quite a while, quite some time, and he finally did it at Indianapolis last time around for the Pro 2000 series. I think a fitting send-off to that car, that the mastermind behind all of this here for these SRCA divisions gets to win the final race for that old Pro Mazda. Definitely, I think, a good way to send that car off into the sunset, which we can see so blindingly right now. I'm trying to avoid it for the moment. It is definitely going to affect these drivers through turn 3, though, and I think it has been a little bit, just affecting a little bit of visibility, but definitely, I think that's actually a testament to how good of a job iRacing has done recently with these graphical updates. But regardless, I think Elijah Gracia winning last week at Indianapolis, definitely a really good way to cap off that season and cap off that kind of era, if you will, for the F2000 series here in the Sim Racers Club of America. Now, we're about a half a lap away from going back green flag racing. It's lap 25 of 35. I'm not sure how many laps we're going to go from here. It could be one, and then we have another caution. It could be two, and then we have another caution. It could be the whole rest of the way. Only time will tell. Rick Ray Vaughn is your race leader, though. Travis Bennett sits in the waiting for P number 2. Then it's Elijah Gracia, who we were just talking about. Spencer Madden in 4th. Justin Ford 5th. Rafael Sabara 6th. Then Tom Mercier 7th. Those are your 7 cars left running after 25 of 35 laps. Rick Ray Vaughn already off and away. The green flag flies, and they're back at it, doing the Ray Vaughn snake down the front stretch and into turn number 1.
Right, Travis Bennett a little bit behind here on the start, but hopefully, well, he should be able to close that gap with some slipstream here. Ray Vaughn obviously trying to break that. We'll see how aggressive Travis Bennett is on trying to get around Rick Ray Vaughn, and, you know, being so close to the lead. And as we sideswiped last week, I already mentioned that. We'll see how he goes here and tries to attack Rick Ray Vaughn, who's so tactical and so smart on these lanes.
We transition back to 3rd place, and you do not want to discount Spencer Madden. He's a man on a mission after that last incident. He overtook, I believe that was Gracia, for the P4 spot here, and he's already hard on the target. He's already near the rear diffuser of Travis Bennett, so here he has about, I think, okay, we're coming to 8 laps to go this time, but so he's going to have a tough time, getting past Bennett here, I think, and then getting past the leader. That's a whole different story, especially in a tough track like Gateway.
Bennett going to work the bottom side. Madden sets a new fastest lap of 24.9. Bennett's going to slide up out of 2 and going to lose this 2nd position down into turn 3. Spencer Madden going to have the advantage over the number 021, and he's going to clear him through 3 and 4. He's going to take that spot away, and he's going to set his sights on Rick Ray Vaughn. 7 laps to go across the stripe. We're working against a time limit here, ladies and gentlemen, at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Bennett looks low of Madden, can't do anything with it. That puts Gracia all over the rear gearbox of the 021 Coca-Cola IndyCar. Justin Ford in tow. Rafael Sabara some distance back. Tom Mercier battling with him, kind of. They're a little ways apart. Back up to that battle for about 4th, 5th, and 6th, though, or 4th and 5th, rather, as Spencer Madden and Travis Bennett are working their way to try and check out of this thing. Madden does the snake down the front stretch, trying to keep that air off of his nose, actually down the straightaway, and then back on his nose through turns 1 and 2.
Ray Vaughn continues to open the gap here as we're coming around the 5 laps remaining here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Spencer Madden was a man on a mission, has not been able to close that gap. Seems that they just make an in-car adjustment on the fly here or something, because Ray Vaughn is just driving away. A little bit of the gap closed there on the front stretch, but Ray Vaughn just opens up so much in the corners that taking so long here to keep Ray Vaughn maybe a little bit more brave, a little bit more lower in the corners. Easily lower we go, the faster it is. Seen already what happened when we get a little too low. So these drivers kind of playing with fire here. 4 laps to go here at Gateway.
We take the 4 to go here, and I think the big issue for Madden there is he did overtake Bennett for P2, but he just didn't get far enough ahead of him where he had to continue to take defensive lines down the straightaways, which affected his corner entry just a little bit. And I think it's putting him a bit out of contention with Ray Vaughn, because right now he's keeping that pace. He's keeping the pace of leader Ray Vaughn right now, but it's just we're running out of time, and he's almost going to need a mistake to happen at this point in time. And here, I mean, at this point, Bennett's coming back for P2, so I think this is going to be the battle we're going to be looking out for here for over the next 3 laps.
Rick Ray Vaughn has just about notched himself an 8th win on the season so far. It's only race number 12 of 15, and he's looking at taking 2/3 of the race's run so far. Regardless, they continue to battle behind him, about a second back or so. Spencer Madden ahead of Travis Bennett as they come out of turn number 4 across the stripe. 2 laps to go remain. 2.5 miles left of racing here in race number 1 on the evening. 12 on the season. Bennett goes high to the center, and that's going to open the door to Elijah Gracia. Makes up tons of time, and he hits the wall. Bennett in the fence out of 2. That's going to give up 3rd position and the podium to Elijah Gracia, who sneaks by on the inside. The 14 looking pretty good, but the 021 looking a little worse for wear. The 00 going to be all over him, but the white flag flies for Rick Ray Vaughn. 1 lap to go.
I think that's what Spencer Madden needed, but needed that to happen a few laps ago so he can focus on the car in front, because, I mean, he was so pressured, but Bennett back in the wall. Ford is going to go by for 4th, but Rick Ray Vaughn is a man of the hour as he comes through turns 3 and 4. He's going to get himself his 8th win on the season here at Gateway.
You know, Ray Vaughn stayed really quiet tonight just because of all the yellows and all the dynamic strategy, but most of all, he avoided incidents for the most part here tonight. So he's completely deserving of the win on pace, strategy, cleanliness. all around, he was the man to beat, and he proved it.
So Rick Ray Vaughn notches win number 8 on the season. We'll be talking to him shortly. It's just insane the tear that this guy has gone on in recent weeks, I think really starting with the IORL Indianapolis 500 getting back into his groove. I know he's had some issues on the surface with some other, I guess, driver bases, we'll say that. And I know he's been trying to get away from that and just get into a new groove of his own, and he's done exactly that, winning the Indianapolis 500 here in Pit Stop TV about a month's time ago, and has just been winning and winning and winning since. He's been on fire here in the SRCA IndyCar World Series, and I don't think he'll be looking back anytime soon. So we will go ahead and talk to the driver of the number 5. I called him out as the number 3 earlier. I think that's his number in the Pro Mazdas, but regardless, Rick Ray Vaughn, do you have a copy?
Hey, I got you loud and clear.
Rick, it's yet another win. 8, count 'em, 8 wins on the season. How's it feel here at Gateway?
I don't even know what to say. This is just like a dream come true. I mean, I never expected to have this kind of a success. You know, you've got guys like Spencer Madden out there and Elijah Gracia, Travis Bennett. These are all quality drivers, and to just be on a streak like this is just unbelievable. I just don't know what to say.
Well, that's now 2/3 of the season that you've won so far, going into our second race of the evening here in not so long. Yeah, that's 8 of 12 that you've won. I mean, that's just incredible in any capacity, but especially here in the SRCA IndyCar World Series. There we go. You're going to have about 150 points going into race number 2, technically 3 races to go, 2.5 weeks, if you will. How do you feel about the championship?
Well, I guess it's looking pretty good. I don't know.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't even know. I could probably miss a race and maybe still get it. But you know, we still have another race to go, and I've been a little jealous. Daniel Falkenham pulled off the double. He just did a fantastic job, and I'm like, damn it, I want to do that. But now I have an opportunity to pull off a double, so we'll just see how race 2 goes, and I hope we could do it. That would be wonderful.
Hey, that sounds good to me. Before we let you go, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to give a shout out to here in race number 1 as we get ready for race number 2 on the evening?
Elijah Drew Garcia, love you, man. You're the best. Thank you for this league. Not going to mention the other one. Piece of garbage. Spencer Madden. I feel for this guy because he's finished second so many times, and he's said to me the last time, it was last night, I actually won a race. He finished second at the IORL, and he says, congratulations on your win, Rick. I hate you, Rick. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, I don't want him to hate me, but anyway, I just want to thank you guys at Pit Stop TV. You do a great job. I hear that something's in the works for the IORL as well, and that would be awesome because you guys do just such a great job, and I want to thank you guys. Thanks to all the drivers out there, too, everybody who race clean, and anybody who's watching. Love all you guys. Thanks to the fans. Oh, excuse me. Most of all, thank you to the Lord. Thank you to the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I love you.
Well, thank you very much for your time here, Rick. I'm sure we'll be talking to you in some capacity here after race number 2 on the evening, so I'll let you get back at it, and we'll be seeing you shortly.
Thank you, my man. God bless you.
And so that's Rick Ray Vaughn, race winner here at Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, to be exact. I'm going to turn it over then to Emerson Ardon with second place finisher Spencer Madden. Well, I was going to turn it over to Emerson Ardon with Spencer Madden. Instead, we're going to move down the line to Elijah Gracia, and Emerson, I'll let you move him in.
Elijah, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, a third place finish coming off the win last week in the F2000s. How does this one feel? Yeah, how does it feel?
Yeah, it always feels good to get a podium. So it's just a little difficult to catch people if you can mess with the weight jacker and everything the way it is now.
So, given as you're kind of the league owner, I kind of ask you this on a more broad spectrum. There was 3 incidents that look very similar tonight. What, if you could see them, what do you think was that? Do you think it was the driver's ability to kind of adjust the cars, or what do you think was the main issue tonight?
Yeah, the main issue with those wrecks was just hitting the curb and then it just spun you around basically. So as far as the adjustability, I don't think it led to that. It's just hit that curb a little too much, it'll spin you around.
I know Rick Rayvon was an absolute monster. He drove out to a big gap, but was there anything different you could have done to maybe snag second there against Spencer Madden on those final laps?
No, not really. I really couldn't. He was pulling away from me, so I really couldn't do that much.
All right. Well, do you have anyone to thank for your podium finish here at the first of 2 races here at Gateway?
Hey, you guys are broadcasting, you guys are racing, people that watched. So,
All right. So, thank you very much. Congratulations on your third place finish here in race 1, and good luck to you in a few minutes' time for race number 2.
all right, thank you.
I want to thank Elijah for his time, and that'll actually do it here for interviews. We're going to get ready to go for race number 2. We've got a few things to do on our end, make sure we're good to go. So, I want to thank everybody, of course, for tuning in for that little bit of action, the first 35 laps on the evening. We'll quickly go down your race results. Rick Rayvon, of course, your race winner. Spencer Madden following him up on the podium. Elijah Gracia taking bronze tonight in race number 1 of 2 on the evening. 12 of 15, rather, on the season. Then you see Justin Ford, Travis Bennett, Rafael Sabara, Tom Mercier, Cole Freilich, and Daniel Falkingham, the rest of your field. So guys, we are going to take our little break. We'll be right back to you with more racing action here from the SRCA IndyCar World Series. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, race fans, to the ever-scenic Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. You can see St. Louis in the background. We're not in St. Louis, Missouri, though. We are in Madison, Illinois. Having driven past the arch myself, I can tell you it is beautiful at night. It is a great place to go on a nice little evening drive. And, man, I love that we can see that in iRacing. You can tell that the arch is there as well and that the city is lit up at night. That is beautiful to look at. A wonderful guy, though, a beautiful guy that we get to talk to here in just a moment is going to be Justin Ford. Trey, I'll turn it over to you with that.
Justin Ford, do you have a copy?
I got you guys.
All right, thanks for joining us in the booth, Justin. So in that last race, you weren't up the leaderboard that much, but you battled your way up to a 4th place position. Just talk to us through those last couple of laps as you got past Travis Bennett.
Yeah, well, I saw him kind of get up against the wall and slow down, so I knew that eventually I'd be able to catch him because he was off pace a little bit. I think he had some wing damage, and I kind of just waited till my opportunity and passed him on the inside when I could.
All right. Also curious, we saw you pit about, I think it was 1 lap later on one of the last yellow flags. Was there any reason for that?
Yeah, I just wanted to get out from the front. I didn't want to be up there just in case any craziness happened. I knew Spencer was fast, and he was going to try to catch Rick, and I figured I'd just somehow kill us all if I stayed there. So I figured I'd just get out of the way, go to the back, and wait for something to happen.
Nope, that makes sense. I think that's exactly what Emerson said when you made that strategy call. We were also wondering, since like weight jackers as an adjustment is something new to fixed series, have you been playing around with that much tonight?
Honestly, I didn't even mess with it at all the first race. I'm going to play around with it this time just to kind of learn more about it and see how it goes. I mean, we'll just see what happens and kind of experiment.
All right, and how are you feeling about your chances here in round 2? Track's going to be a bit cooler, so should be more grip out there.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of good. I started to hone in a little bit at the end of the last race, and I'm hoping that maybe this will make a little bit closer racing and some more accidents will happen, and I can pick off some more places.
All right, well, qualifying is getting underway, so I don't think we want to leave you here much longer. Anyone you want to thank out there?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for broadcasting, Elijah as always, and the woman for cooking a nice dinner tonight, so that's a bonus for the race.
All right, thank you for your time, Justin.
Thanks, guys.
That was Justin Ford, driver of the 00 Dallara IndyCar.
Gotta thank Justin for his time. You mentioned it, Trey, these guys getting on the racetrack for some qualifying laps. Cole Freilich was the first car to hit the pavement here at Gateway and get at it. The number 15 coming around to complete his first lap this time by, and Cole is going to go, of course, to P1. We'll see where these drivers file in. We only have 8, so we've lost one between races 1 and 2. It seems that we have lost... Actually, I'm not totally certain. Oh, Will Klein. We don't have Will Klein in this race. So, Will Klein, it looks like... No, we didn't have him in the previous race either. Who did we lose?
We do? Okay. I thought it might have been Madden. We have Madden.
Wow, this is really throwing us for a loop. We have Cole Freilich. We have... Who was the other one that we are now missing? Wow, we've actually been completely caught off guard here. Who was this that we lost?
Meanwhile, Rayvon does go to the top of the board. Only 3 guys have set time so far.
Huh.
I did save the replay so I can get the race results and we can have an answer here in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really curious now. You'd think that we would know who we were just talking about in that race. Who did we lose? Who in the world did we lose? We have Daniel Falkenham. Oh, Travis Bennett!
Oh.
We don't have a Travis Bennett this race. That's rather unfortunate, actually. Because he has been looking really good in recent weeks. We do have 4 cars that have turned a time, though. Those 4 being Rick Ray Vaughn, Cole Freilich, Spencer Madden, and Elijah Grassi. No, actually now 5 cars, as Daniel Falkenham gets his time down. So 5 cars have taken the time. Slot Falkenham, as you can see on your ticker on the left side of your screen, into second place. And you know what? Since he's got his qualifying run in, I think we'll go ahead and drag him down here and speak with him really quickly before we get this one underway. Emerson, I haven't heard you much, but since we've come back from break, I'll turn it over to you then.
Right on. Daniel Falkenham, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alright, so race 1 didn't really go your way. What ended up happening on the pace lap?
And I was trying to burn fuel and my foot slipped off the clutch and I spun out, hit the wall, knocked out my front suspension. And then so I had to pit on the first lap, went a lap down, but luckily got another yellow. And then trying to burn fuel, I blew my engine. So yeah, not a good first race, I guess.
Yeesh. I'm gonna assume you learned from that and you'll do a little bit better here in race 2. So what's the plan going that you didn't get the practice session, but you did not get the 35 race laps that the other drivers did? What's your plan heading into race 2?
Yep, hopefully not crash.
Alright, seems simple enough. You have anybody to shout out for, you being, I guess, able to race with us tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank Elijah for the league. Always fun to come do the races on Thursdays. Gotta thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thanks to everyone who comes to races. Thanks to everyone who watches the races as well.
Alright, well, best of luck to you in this 35 lapper. You have about 24 seconds before it's time for you to grid up, so we'll let you get to it.
Alright, appreciate it.
And so that is Daniel Falkenham, driver of the number 20. Want to thank him for his time. It looks like he's going to hang on to second place here in qualifying, guys. Doesn't look like he'll be unseated considering Sabara, Ford, and Mercier are keeping their cars in the pits for this qualifying session. So as time runs out, time expires, that's the word I was looking for initially, we do have a starting grid to walk down. Trey, I'll turn this one over to you, actually.
All right, sounds good. So we do have 8 cars on the grid for this one, 35 laps. Rick Ray Vaughn for the second consecutive race will take the pole position here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, and outside of him, as it was for race 1, will be Daniel Falkenham. We head back to row 2, and then we have Elijah Drew Gracia, who, as we stated, he won the final Pro F2000 race at Indianapolis, the Freedom 100 last week. Outside of him, position 4 will be Spencer Madden. P5, the last guy to set a time on the board for qualifying, Cole Freilich. He'll be joined by Tom Mercier in P6, and then we go to row 4, the final row tonight. Rafael Sabera and Justin Ford will make up that row.
So 8 of the SRCA's best. Unfortunately, we only have 8 cars here for race number 2, but it should still be exciting here at Gateway. Gateway always tends to put on some decent action. Even with the rebrand, nothing changed here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's still the same old mile-and-a-quarter facility that just puts on some really great racing. We are ready to get rolling. Looks like we're waiting on 2 more cars to grid up, and then we'll get at it for 35 more laps. Definitely looking forward to it. Emerson, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Well. Let's see. I guess the guy who's had 67% of the races won this season, Rick Ray Vaughn, I think it'd be a pretty safe pick.
I think we need a little bit of parity in the booth, just so we have, a little bit of something to talk about here, because Ray Vaughn is a pretty good pick. But outside of him, I'm kind of excited to see what Falkenham can do as long as he makes it to the green flag, which I think we have a good chance of it here.
Yeah, I think he's learned from his mistakes. Let's see, we have Rick Ray Vaughn gone, we have Daniel Falkenham gone. It's tough for me if I want to pick between the inside or the outside of row number 2, but I think I'm going to go with Spencer Madden to get his second win on the season. He was definitely frustrated with his run in race number 1 on the evening, 12 on the season. I think he's going to put his head down and give it a nice little charge here in race number 2. 35 laps set for these drivers to tackle. He's already done it once, winning the second race of the evening at Texas. I think he can do it again here. We'll see what the driver of the number 6 can do. He has switched paint schemes, a lot more red, white, and blue in the field, and a whole lot less black and orange that we saw previously for the driver of the number 6. So, These guys headed down the back straightaway here. I think those are some solid picks there, guys. I do want to go back over the standings coming into this evening. You can see everybody with their motion throughout the standings as well. Oldest Budapest picking up 3 spots before, unfortunately, missing this week for his move to Germany. Spencer Madden following him up as Gracia and Falkingham slipped. Mercier held stout in 6th. Then you had Ford, Zabara, Caden Henry Oaks picking up positions. But Caden Henry Oaks and Will Klein did not show up tonight. So, we'll get ready for 35 more laps of action coming to the start-finish line. Rick Ray Vaughn, your pole sitter, he's going to take the green flag and lead him into turn number 1.
Rick Ray Vaughn has the inside line. Look at a clear flop. He wanted to get a better arc into turn 1 and came very close. How about Spencer Madden already clearing up to P number 3? And Elijah Gracia holding station in P4.
So we enter turn 3 right now. We almost have a battle for the lead here. He looks a little high to get some clean air. That being Daniel Fulton. He might have run to come in too. But Rick Ray Vaughn goes back to taking down that front straightaway into the entry of 1. He might be setting up for an overtake. Fulkingham down the back straightaway.
Falkingham loses some time through 1 and 2 there. He's going to have to be careful or he's going to have Spencer Madden on him. He does! To the inside goes Spencer Madden, the number 6. He's looking for a big advantage here. Almost a slide job through 3. He's going to clear him as well. A great move out of the driver of the number 6. Spencer Madden commandingly takes 2nd place back from Daniel Falkingham. Justin Ford sets your fastest lap. Then Rafael Sabara takes that from him. Now Falkingham has company because suddenly Elijah Gracia has entered the chat and he is all over the back end of the number 20. He falls back a little bit out of turn number 2, but Cole Freilich is right there with him.
I was about to say, don't count Cole Freilich out. This track is cooler. Nighttime is falling, so there's more grip. So I think Freilich will be able to use that inside line a little bit better, and he'll get up here and start throwing himself into the mix up here. Spencer Madden, he is a man on a mission, but once again, he's cleared up to P2 and has not been able to go anywhere after that. We'll see what he can do if he can kind of get a run going here. Daniel Falkingham looking to follow suit, maybe have another go back into P number 2.
So Ray Vaughn has about a 2nd gap right now, but that Ford GT livery-inspired machine, it is absolutely commanding the mid-pack right now. Fulkingham is pressuring, and he has not slipped up yet, after his overtake. I believe it was on lap 2, and he has a 3-car pack right behind him. He's doing all he can right now, snaking down the back straightaway as we enter into turn 3. No distance in between any of these 4 cars.
No room for error. Gracia peaks high, then back low. Falkingham has a run out of the corner. Madden holds steady up on the top side of the racetrack. Ray Vaughn does his snake. Freilich then goes to the inside of Gracia. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. Has to back out through the center of the corner. But I think Gracia might have just barely tapped the fence out of turn 2. Falkingham all over the gearbox of Madden into turn 3.
He goes to the outside. He only tries to get a better arc in the corner. Maybe try to cross him over here on exit. Down to the inside. Right on schedule. Can't get down there. Pokes himself back in the line. Cole Freilich, he really is trying hard on that inside line. He has not given up. I'm telling you, he's really going to pile on the pressure here on Gracia as the laps wind down.
We head down the back straightaway into the entry of 3. For the time being, Spencer Madden does have a bit of a gap, but we're going to see Fulkingham. No, actually, he doesn't go high to try to get cleaner this time, and he's going to be under pressure on the front straightaway, I think. Right behind him is Elijah Gracia. None of us picked him tonight, guys, but he's staying in there right now, and he's ahead of Cole Freilich right now. These guys battle for the top 5.
Well, if you recall, I was very close to picking Elijah, considering he has that win a week ago in the Pro 3000 Series. Definitely very different circumstances here at Gateway in the IndyCars, but still, a bit of momentum. Big Mo is going to serve him right tonight. He did pretty well in that first race, coming home 3rd place. Right now, he's looking at the back end of P number 3, actually, as he is behind Falkingham. So he's pretty close, and he could have a chance to go at the driver of the number 20. And of course, these guys probably going to have some kind of stoppage of action, probably have another chance to go at it, and the pit stops will certainly affect things. We'll see what he can do currently sitting in 4th place. He's got Freilich behind, but I think Freilich is starting to burn his stuff up.
Yeah, I believe so. Freilich's just kind of holding the line. In fact, all of these guys are just kind of biding their time, waiting in line. I think they saw how race 1 go, though. It was a points-paying race, a championship impactful race. They are kind of they use that race kind of more of an experimental race. So here they are racing and biding their time, understanding what they can do with the cars now a little bit more, especially because there's more grip on the track. But all these guys have the same lot of I believe they're going to allow Spencer Madden to kind of drag all of them up and close the gap to Rick Draymond. So we could maybe see if we can stay green here. A 5-car battle for the lead actually as the Vulcan across and lost on the short across the plate in the back. Vulcan right there on the gearbox. Spencer Madden actually goes to the inside. You know, he puts himself back in the line. Back in the one.
So we continue to ride on more than Fulton. He is under pressure right now. But yeah, I think we just didn't get a good sample size for how these cars are going to handle on a long run, especially in the earlier race. I think our longest run was not even 10 laps, and here we go, 12 laps already into this run so far. So we see Fulkingham Peacock. He has pressure behind, but he might have the run to the inside this time. And also worth noting, guys, that that gap to the leader has kind of stagnated. And in fact, I think Fulkingham is, or excuse me, I'm looking at the leaderboard incorrectly. Spencer Madden is actually starting to close a 10th or 2 here and there on the leader, Rick Ray-Vaughn. So you made a good point, Emerson, when you said these guys are just starting to stay calm. As I say that, we have a pass for P2. Fulkingham to the inside. They're dead even through 3 and 4. Is anyone going to give an inch on the exit? No. Yeah, or rather, yes. I can't talk. Fulkingham still on the inside, commanding it onto the entry of 1, and I think he's going to clear him this time.
Whoa, he gets very tight on the bottom side. That gives Madden the advantage on the top. Freilich tries to the inside of Gracia. He couldn't get it done. These guys all going at it right now. We'll watch from a wider blimp shot as these guys go into turn 3. Fulkingham back down to the inside. Tries to clear Madden. He finally does. Now Freilich gets a run on Gracia again. He's going to follow his teammate Madden back down to the inside line through 1 and 2. It's a 4-car, 5-car blanket off into 1 and 2. Freilich slow through the corner. He loses a lot of time. He'll get passed by Sabara off into turn number 3, but Madden fighting back on the inside line.
Insert Sabara into the chat. What does he have for this group of 3 cars? He slides up Freilich back to the inside behind them. Spencer Madden still holding his own on that inside. Pretty much all that work they did to try to catch Rick Ray-Vaughn was thrown away. Fulton says, Madden, it's time to go. Let's duke it out for a second, because
Oh!
Big accident on the back, 5 cars collected upside down.
All right, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
Big damage to Sabara.
That was the field. So unfortunately, these guys were pushing hard side by side for at least 3 or 4 laps there. Spencer Madden just overcommitted mid-corner, and he was finding himself, you know, a partner with the wall there on exit, and it collected, as you said, Emerson, about 5 cars there. So we'll get a replay in a second there and relive all of that action. Absolutely an electric 15 laps there, though. That was incredible, and I think that's the reason that IndyCar races at the nighttime here at Gateway, because it just produces such a great racing product.
Before we went to replay, we actually saw Fulkingham knock the wall down with his damage number 20. We're going to go back and watch all of this unfold because that was definitely some crazy action. So Madden is going to be on the bottom here battling Fulkingham, trying to get that spot back, and just gets tight, just loses it on the bottom side, and he slides up and collects Fulkingham, then stops. All of it stops on Gracia's nose. That collects Freilich and Sabara. The only driver getting through that then is Justin Ford. Freilich goes upside down. Sabara goes upside down. Those two going for wild rides. You see Fulkingham spinning through the grass, Gracia continuing to wreck, and Spencer Madden in the back of all of that. Just really, really unfortunate. Not at all what you want to see, of course. And so early in the race still. Now, you mentioned the short runs we had in race number 1 and not getting a feel for these cars in the long run. We did have a 10-lap run to the end, and we had definitely passed that, but still pretty early in the race, not even halfway. And we've got a big chunk, pretty much, like you guys said, the field in this one. And you see right there, Spencer Madden just gets tight underneath Daniel Fulkingham, slides up, and he's on the brakes right here. He's trying to avoid him, ends up clipping him, though, and Gracia just has nowhere to go. The closing rate's too high. He clips the back end of Madden, and then is going to get hit again by Fulkingham, and that's really what does Gracia in. You can see Sabara flipping into it as well. Cole Freilich goes up and over, and just a massive, massive incident here out of turn 2.
On the caution period right here, Justin Ford, Tom Mercer, they took over P1 and 2, but they're coming into the pit lane on the second time around. So I think what Justin alluded to in his pre-race interview here to race 2, just trying to get out of that, because all those drivers, man, it was an intense battle. They're just trying to keep their cars clean, maintain that faster pair that those two have. But yeah, that is 5 faster pairs gone right away. Actually, I think Grossi and Sabara, they're done. I really didn't see why. Didn't know if there's no fast repairs in this one, but they're out of it. That they really, I don't know. That surprises me.
I believe the issue might have been they might have had to tow, and they might have just realized, hey, we're 2 or 3 laps down, and that's going to be really difficult to make back up. Well, actually, Gracia actually had an issue with his internet, and he was forced out of the server, but Sabara did disconnect from the server already.
And Justin Ford spins out of the pit lane trying to get onto that access road. We talked to him before qualifying, and the driver of the 00 not having a great time right now. Goes for a bit of a loop-to-loop, gets things back sorted there. The tie-dye 00 with Bruzy Raceway on the side of his machine, going to get back at it, get back into the pacing field. Hopefully does not get a penalty for that. We'll see. But Rick Ray Vaughn, then your race leader, starts from the pole, leads that entire run. Mercier and Ford stay out for a lap, as you mentioned there, Emerson, but he gets the lead right back as soon as they pit. And I don't know if he really has the same competition behind him now, because you take out Elijah Gracia, and the dynamic of that this kind of second group is really going to change. Even Rafael Sabara. And now they're going to be racing a whole lot more on edge, I think, considering they don't have that fast repair in the bank. They've got to be a lot more careful this next run to the checkers, or they could be out of this one.
I think they could, but I think Spencer Madden, he's realized now at the end of race 1 and right here in race 2, it has not worked out for him to get up to P2 and he have nowhere to go with it, as Ray Vaughn has, jumped out to a huge margin. So we'll see how aggressive Spencer Madden is here. I think he's getting frustrated. He's hoping third time's a charm here, so maybe he can stick with Ray Vaughn and maybe have something for him.
With how aggressive these guys have been, Emerson, I think I still like the strategy of Justin Ford. It only got him 4th place in that earlier race. We have a slightly smaller field, and I think these guys are going to be really aggressive with the additional grip that they have. We already saw how a full track does tend to produce side-by-side racing pretty easily here, as opposed to the daytime, and we don't see the tire falls that we see during the day. So not sure if the lights are on or off on the pace car. I think we're going to have one additional pace lap here yet.
So yeah, we should have that additional pace lap. Yep, lights are still on. So we should be coming to the 1 to green signal this time by from the flagman. Rick Ray Vaughn, your race leader. And if he does win this race, that is now 9 races out of 13. With 2 races to go, he could easily dip into the double digits in the win column. And in a 15-race season, that is just absurd.
I mean, we're talking here. That is 60. If he gets this win right now, he's sat at 67%. That is 69% of the season. Nearly
nice.
70% of the season. Nearly 70% of the season. I mean, that is how dominant Rick Ray Vaughn has been. And we know he's good, but the rest of these drivers are good too. It is mind-boggling to see Rick Ray Vaughn come in, week out. Or I guess this is a 2-week off-season, mini off-season they had in the middle of the season here. Rick Ray Vaughn comes back and is still, doing. He's picked up right where he's left off, and it's been absolutely dominant. We'll see what happens here with less than half the race. I mean, we'll actually have 14 to go when we go green.
Yeah, you say that about Ray Vaughn and the level of competition. It's not like he's coming in here as like a iRacing Coca-Cola Series driver and cleaning house. He's coming in up here against guys that are really confident in terms of I-rating. A couple of guys even have a higher I-rating than him. He's going to get a mega jump
Green flag.
on a Madden to restart this race here. And I think the battle right now is going to be for 3rd place as we go down the back straightaway. Buckingham's 3rd, and behind him it's going to be another Meme Team car and Cole Freilich. So right now your top 5 stands as Ray Vaughn, Madden, Buckingham, Freilich, and Ford. Little staggered on that restart.
Whoa! Falkingham almost clobbers the slow Elijah Gracia, who finally reconnects and gets back on the racetrack. Spencer Madden, though, in tow of Rick Ray Vaughn, and he's going to try and close back in on that number 5 car. Now 13 laps to go for the driver out of Ohio to try and catch up to Rick Ray Vaughn. We'll see if... No, he's not going to do it. I was just going to say, we'll see if he can do it. It's not going to happen. He's gone around out of turn 2. He saves it. I think saves the car from any damage, so he's technically still in this race. But unless we get a caution, he has just done himself in.
I told you, he was going to be as aggressive as he can. He was frustrated with the last 2 restarts, or the restart at the end of the last race, or this initial start of this race, not being able to stick with Rick Ray Vaughn as Cole Freilich goes fastest with a 25.04 P4. Falkingham and Freilich duking it out for P2 here. We'll see how aggressive these guys are. Falkingham didn't get to really get any laps in race 1. Freilich caused 2 incidents in race 1, so we'll see how these two go as they have 11 laps to go here at Gateway.
Yep, we're coming here to the late stages of the race. It's going to be interesting to see if these guys are actually going to battle it out here, or if they're going to say to each other, hey, we need to work together for a couple laps. We need to get in the slipstream of Ravon so that we don't lose him through the corners, so we get all of that drag. And then, you get back to the straightaway, and then you slip right back up like these guys are doing right now. They stand about 8/10 of a second back of the leader right now from the entry to turn 1. Looks like these guys are going to play nice for the time being, but if they can't catch Ravon, before 5 or 4 laps to go, I think that's when if you're Cole Fraley, he has a push for P2.
So watching on board right now with Cole Fraley, what's interesting to me is how much they're slowing down compared in turns 1 and 2 compared to turns 3 and 4. We'll watch it this time again. In fact, we'll do it from Daniel Falkingham's perspective, actually. The main driver going to go off into turns 1 and 2 right here. He's going to dip down into 4th, almost into 3rd. We saw Cole Fraley when we initially went to him dip down into 3rd gear. These guys are really having to check up in turns 1 and 2 and really drop gears, and then they finally pick back up on the straightaways. But then they leave it just flat out, and I think just upshift to keep the rear end calmed down, and that's their lap. Surprisingly, they're pretty much leaving the throttle to the floor down in 3 and 4, probably lifting a bit to get the car to right itself and just get settled in, but for the most part, staying in the throttle, which is really impressive.
If Freilich did make adjustments to the car with the weight jacker and anti-roll bars in race 1, he's definitely minimized those in this race. So that, adding on with a car directly in front of him, giving him so much dirty air. Oh, and Freilich to the inside as he looks for P2 on Falkingham. We'll see if he can do it here in the turn 1. Back to my point, it's just so tight behind the car, and then
Whoa!
the car moves right there, very tight. So he definitely has to make some adjustments to that car, but hopefully not too much of an adjustment where he can't handle in these corners.
After that last push for P2 right there, it's going to be really tough for these guys to catch Ravon as the leader, because he now stands about 1.2 seconds ahead of these guys. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination with 6 laps to go, but it's just getting to the point where you're almost going to need a mistake out of a race leader right now. But no, we almost saw a repeat of what happened with Madden and Falkingham off of the exit of turn 2 there. I think these guys are still going to put up a fight and put on a show here for P2, but starting to settle out here for the race lead, and I think Ravon is going to pick up his 2nd win of the night.
It's looking like it now with 5 laps to go for these drivers. Things are just winding down, and actually we did just have Tom Mercier in 4th. He's since dropped to 5th, so we'll tune into that battle real quick as he battles with Justin Ford and Elijah Gracia. Elijah Gracia laps down, though. He's not in this for position. He's just kind of playing spoiler as, wow, Justin Ford going to dip down to the inside here for turn 3. Almost washes up into Tom Mercier, but he keeps that car on the bottom side, and Tom slips up underneath his gearbox. Now looks to the inside for position number 4 into turn 1. Will Tom make the move? He does! Almost. No, he backs out at just the right moment. He's going to fall in behind Justin Ford once more.
I find it so ironic that these are the 2 drivers who pitted to try to get out of all the melee that was happening in front of them, and here they are causing their own. I get it. 4 laps to go, 3 to go. It's time to go for position. I just love the irony there. Justin Ford kind of holding his own up high, but Tom Mercier working him over. This is for P4. This would be pretty remarkable for both of them if they can edge out one another.
A lot of respect shown by these guys as we go through the entry of turn 1 and 2. We head down the back road into turn 3. Side by side, 2 rows. That's Spencer Madden. Yes, sir. He's going to be fighting for P4 here. He's going to have about, 2.5 miles here to try to settle it here. He's already up to P5. 3 wide as we enter into turn 1. Side by side. On the entry. Mercier on the inside. Cool. Power move by Madden. He's going to overtake 2 cars on the entry of 1.
And they just get out of his way. He's going to take 4th spot, but Justin Ford might not be done with him just yet. They continue to go at it as, well, Ford was looking kind of racy to the top side, then slips back underneath him as the white flag has flown for Rick Ravon. We're going to stay with this for the moment because Ford now to the inside of Spencer Madden for 4th place. They go side by side through 1 and 2. Contact, and oh, Spencer Madden is going to go around.
Not gonna like that, and I'm sure Ford did not mean it, but the aggression on the last lap as Rick Ravon takes win number 9 on the season. Daniel Falkman 2nd, really with the fastest lap there at the end, and this battle to the line. Justin Ford over Mercier and over. Big accident there into the catch fence from Ford and around goes Mercier.
High quality show. We didn't have the car count we were probably expecting tonight, but these guys put on an absolute clinic if we're looking at per capita action here tonight. Absolutely amazing show tonight. More contact under the checkers between Madden and Mercier. So I don't know if he's upset after that incident earlier or just messing around. Regardless, excellent show, and Ray Vaughn, deservedly so, is going to pick up the second win of the night. And as you said, Emerson, 9 in a 13-race season up to this point.
Just insane what this driver out of New Jersey has done. Trey, I'm going to shoot it right back to you then for the interview here with Rick Ray Vaughn after winning a second race on the evening. He sweeps Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway.
Rick Ray Vaughn, do you have a copy?
I got a copy.
Thanks for joining us, Rick. So, you know, you're really making it a pattern of being in the booth with us, and that's definitely a good thing. Just talk us through round 2 here tonight. You did a great job out there on a night track.
Well, yeah, I knew it was imperative to get the pole because at this track there's plenty of time to reel a guy in. You've got the entire backstretch, and then, you know, 3 and 4 are so wide open that you can actually, especially with the being able to adjust the roll bars, the sway bars, the weight jacker, you could stay with somebody. So it was important to get the pole and try to get a jump on the start and just hold him back there. And I'm just grateful that we were able to get some green flag laps in this. Hello, who is that?
Me and Milo are here to congratulate you.
Oh, thank you. Hi.
Congratulations, honey.
Thank you, Mommy. It's my wife and my little girl. Come here, baby. Come here, sweetheart. I love you.
Great to see the support.
Congratulations, honey.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you. I love you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your support, Mommy. I love you. I love you, Milo. All right.
Okay.
Bye, honey. All right, get out of here. Go. Get out.
Ray Vaughn Nation in full force out there tonight.
I'll tell you, it's really nice to have that kind of support. They watched the broadcast and you guys up there. I can't wait to see it myself. But anyway, like I was saying, it was nice to not have a bunch of yellows this time. You know, because we could kind of get a lead and hold on to it because, you know, the arrow push is pretty bad from behind. And I saw those guys fighting it out, and I said, oh, that's good. That'll allow me to get even farther ahead, and that's what happened. But towards the end of the race, the last several laps, I had a pretty good lead, and I didn't know if the tires were going to start going away and if the back end was going to come around. So I started backing off, you know, the speed going through the corners just to ensure that I don't, you know, do something stupid and spin and throw the race away. So.
Yeah, that's the fortunate part about being the leaders. It does give you the opportunity to get out there and get ahead as long as you get a good restart, which it seemed like you did on the lone restart that we had tonight. No, I believe we had 2 actually tonight, if I recall.
Yeah, it was important. It was important to be in the lead. The clean air was king, and I'm just grateful. I don't know what to say. I'm grateful. Thanks again to Elijah, and thanks to you guys, Pit Stop TV. You guys are awesome. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy to be part of this.
So, you know, we step away here from the Oval here tonight. Do you feel confident going into Barcelona next week if you plan on going there?
Well, league owner Elijah Gracia just congratulated me on the championship, so that's wrapped up. I don't even have to race at that track, but I mean, I guess I'll do it for fun. I'm not really crazy about that place, but I might give it a go.
All right. Well, you know, it's been a pleasure to talk to you tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank out there for your 2 in a row tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank the Lord Jesus first and foremost. I think I already thanked Elijah. I thanked you guys, all the drivers, all the people that tuned in and watched. I don't know. That's pretty much it. My wife, my daughter. It's just a great night. I can't believe I did the Falkingham, baby. I did the double.
We can call it the Ray Vaughn now, maybe after tonight if you keep it up. All right, thanks for your time, Rick.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yep, that was Rick Ray Vaughn, who led 63 laps out of a total of 70 tonight, so just pure domination here in Illinois.
That it was. We're going to then turn it over to second place finishing Daniel Falkingham, who's standing trackside with Emerson Ardon.
Daniel Falkingham, you have a copy?
Jan 4.
Right, so it was a second place finish. Talk to us about this race and kind of what you saw that was different from here race 2 as compared to race 1 from your point of view.
Well, compared to race 1, it didn't crash on the pace lap, so I actually figured out what this car would drive like. And definitely took me a little bit to adjust since a lot of these guys had more experience in the last race, so I was kind of slow to start. That's how Spencer got by me. Then I started to find my rhythm a little bit throughout the race. I got back up to second, and we had a collision, but I managed to get back to pit road, get my fast repair, and then get back out, and Rick was just driving away. Just dirty air is just so bad, where just clean air means everything, especially at a track like Gateway, where there's a lot of off throttle time and whatnot. So definitely crucial to get that clean air, which I really wasn't able to get.
Right. So what could you see from that accident? Actually, that was U5 that were all in that battle. All 5 of you got collected. What could you see? Do you know if Spencer did get tied and collect you, or what do you think happened from the cockpit?
Yeah, I looked at the replay. Spencer just got tied underneath me. He said he was like off the gas on the brake and everything, and it just went straight on him, and he just got in my left rear. Then I guess that took out so many of us, so that took out a lot of the competition, and we were able to get back going and whatnot because we luckily didn't have to tow. Or I had to tow to fix one of my front wheels, but luckily it was a short enough tow where I was able to stay on the lead lap. So luckily we were able to. After that, we pretty much had no issues. Had a fun race in the cold air at the end, so that was all good fun.
Was just about to ask you. Talk to us about that battle with Cole Frey. Like that looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, at least I had some excitement because Rick was just driving away in the distance. So me and Cole were having a little bit of a scrap there. It's just really hard to pass too, especially in turns 1 and 2 where the high side is preferred, and 3 and 4 is pretty much a flat out corner. So really hard to build a big run where you can try to maybe set up a pass, just because it's really hard to pass on one end of the racetrack compared to where it's easy to pass in 3 and 4. You just kill your run through 1 and 2 because you have to lift out the throttle because of the dirty air. And then once you build up your run through 3 and 4, you're already up to the guys pretty much back end, but you're back to turn 1 again. So it was just really hard to set up a pass. So luckily we were able to keep Cole pinched down. We were able to hang on a second.
Right. Okay, you are now P4 in points, only 6 back of Elijah. What do you think is the outlook heading into Barcelona and then Auto Club?
Now, hopefully we can maybe score a win or 2 maybe, because I like Catalunya. I like driving road courses in the IndyCars. We'll see what happens next week, because Catalunya, I didn't have a good race last season, so maybe hope for better things this season. Definitely going to look forward to that in Auto Club. I don't know what it is about Auto Club, but I just seem to keep winning races there, so hopefully we can have a good result there and see what happens.
Right, well, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight, here in race 2, a much better race than you had in the first one. And Galicia next week, at Barcelona, but actually before that, do you have anybody to thank for your second place finish here tonight?
Got to thank Elijah for the lead, thanks to you guys for broadcasting, thanks to everyone who races, and thanks to everyone watching the race.
Right on. So congratulations on your second place finish in Galicia next week. Hoping to kind of carry on the momentum. Why don't we into the next and final 2 weeks?
Yep, appreciate it.
And so that's Daniel Falkingham. He mentions liking how these IndyCars do on road courses. He actually won at Monza earlier on in the season, so that's where his one win on the season came from. We've got one more driver to talk to, and boy, it's a familiar voice. Cole Fralick, you done wrecked it twice in race 1, but you come back to 3rd place in race 2.
Yeah, it's comeback season. Nighttime is the right time, boys, and may have junked the car twice first race, but happy to have a 3rd place run even after we junked the car a 3rd time this race.
Yeah, so what were you doing out there? Wrecking twice in the first race. It was only, what, a 9-lap stretch, if that?
The first time was I pulled the ultimate rule that our buddy Noah Carmichael would usually say, and he usually says don't hit the curb, and I definitely hit the curb and destroyed the car there. The second time I just had the weight jacker way too up. I'm still trying to get used to that, so running a weight jacker set for turn 1, not for turn 3, definitely not ideal, and we kind of looped it, and then Raphael just got into us on accident.
Yeah, we were trying to do our best to speculate as to what caused those 2 issues. Obviously, definitely not how you want to open up the evening. That said, you come back for a decent gain in points. You're actually going to move up into the top 10, And if I go back to the right race, you're going to move up into 9th place, actually. So gaining 2 spots over Will Klein and Caden Henry Oaks. You're going to move right up into 9th spot. And you're not so far back of Rafael Sabara. I think with 2 races left, it's certainly tangible. I know we kind of kept you out of this points battle, but do you think you can at least get up to 8th next week?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I still got to learn Catalunya because I've not even bought the track because I'm just a lazy bum and have not done it. But yeah, we can definitely learn that track pretty quick and then head into Auto Club. I feel pretty confident because we at the first race in Michigan we ran really well, so those tracks kind of coincide with each other in a way. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, I definitely think I can catch 8th place in points. I didn't even know I was in the top 10, so that's pretty good to know.
Well, the deficit is, let's see, 32 points, so it is definitely a gap. No, sorry. The deficit is not 32. It is 38. My bad. I was looking at the wrong 2 drivers. It's 38 points, so it's definitely a large deficit, but you can certainly make that up over the next couple of weeks. I mean, we saw Rick Ray Vaughn gap the field by 60 more points tonight. He's now almost got 200 points on anybody, so I think you can definitely make up those positions. But man, you mentioned not having Barcelona next week. Maybe we can get you in the booth here sometime this week, and you can afford that, huh?
Maybe, just maybe. Definitely want to look forward to getting back up here in the booth with you guys. I have been having some fun racing the car in other leagues, so hopefully I don't just stink up the show in the other leagues I run, and hopefully we can come back to broadcasting here.
All right, well, Cole, before we let you go, who do you have to thank and shout out tonight?
Well, first I got to thank my stupid self for not wrecking the car for one race. Thanks to Spencer for painting the car up, and everybody who watches here at their homes and stuff, and thanks to Elijah for putting on the lead. Definitely very welcoming to race these every Thursday night, and it's just good to have a good little community to race around, so it's always fun. And basically congrats on Rick, because that dude's freaking mental when it comes to these cars.
That he is. 9 wins out of 13 races. You've got some catching up next week to do if you want to keep him from getting to double digits, but we'll see you then, Cole. Until then, thanks for your time and congrats on 3rd.
All right, thanks, guys.
So that's Cole Freilich, usually a commentator when we're talking to him here in the Pit Stop TV booth, but not tonight. He was showing us what he could do as a driver, and man, at first it was not looking very good for his case, but he made up for it later on. We do, of course, want to go down your race results. Rick Ray Vaughn, first place, getting his 2nd win on the evening. Then it's Daniel Falkingham, Cole Freilich, Justin Ford, Tom Mercier, your top 5. Spencer Madden ends up wrecked and coming back to the line in 6th. Elijah Gracia loses those 4 laps, finishes 7th, and Rafael Sabara in 8th. Before we close things out here, gosh, we should have done this earlier, but we do have to thank a brand new partner here to Pit Stop TV and Whiplash Media and Whiplash Racing. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. And of course, we are talking about Permanent Makeup in Maine. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bullier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give us a call today to book a consultation. You can contact Permanent Makeup in Maine at permanentmakeup.com, there we go, or call/text us at 207-358-8683. So again, that's permanentmakeupinmaine.com or 207-358-8683. If you visit their Facebook page, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, you'll see that they do monthly giveaways. So who knows, if you enter yourself into that bag of names, you just might win the thing. And I mean, everybody likes free stuff, right? So definitely give them a shout. If nothing else, at least support those who support us and like their Facebook page and let us know that, well, you saw them from watching us. So definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Before we close things out, I gotta ask you guys who your pick next week. We're gonna do this in a week in advance instead of just on the spot before we go to Catalunya. Who do you guys have winning next week at Barcelona?
Well, let's see. I gotta really think on this one here, but I think Falkingham. You know, he was so close in the in the Pro F2000. I think that's really the last reference I have to these drivers on a road course at Montreal. So maybe he can get this done at Barcelona here in these Indy cars. They are pretty different vehicles, but he can turn left and right. That was evident there, so we'll see if he can do it next week.
Bulkingham's definitely a pretty good choice, but I also saw some pretty solid stuff out of Spencer Madden in the Pro F2000 series at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as well a few weeks ago, and I think that would also be a pretty good pick next week.
Absolutely. So if I'm going to take anybody in the field, I'm assuming Rick Ray Vaughn will be there. He may not be thinking about, winning races at this. Actually, probably is thinking about just winning races at this point. He's got the championship wrapped up. I'm going to put my money on either Rick Ray Vaughn or Elijah Gracia. I think Elijah Gracia, he has a handle on these things. He does really well every time the SRCA League unloads, be it in a Pro Mazda or an IndyCar. I think he's got a chance, and it might just be his week next week to win in an IndyCar. But that will conclude our coverage tonight of the SRCA IndyCar World Series doubleheader from Worldwide Technology Raceway. Pit Stop TV thanks you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. We'll continue with SRCA action next Thursday evening when the SRCA IndyCar World Series visits Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for round 14 of 15 on the historic circuit. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.com/ wow, I just said www.com. That's a new one. www.facebook.com, there we go, / pitstoptv. On Twitter at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv /pit_stop_tv, and on YouTube simply by searching Pitstop TV. This has been Emerson Ardon and Trey Shuttlesworth with me in the booth tonight. I am Andrew Cardinale IV, and we will see you next time at Catalunya.